Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you with more 2023 300XC content. Today we are working on the first service slash taking the motor apart to measure the piston deck height and all the stuff that Kelsey needs to build us an insert for it to give us a little more compression up here to high elevation. Also, I'm going to be going into the fuel tank and how it works, how that fuel pump picks up gas, and the fact that we don't have this down here now was the lowest point, and kind of go over some of my concerns, honestly. And then also talking about my two things that I don't actually like too much about this bike. That is not clickbait. There are two things that I don't love about this motorcycle. Most things I do love. But so yeah, let's start by taking the skid plate off. You guys asked if it just bolted up to the frame. Yes, bolt there, one on the other side, and then bolts here. So let's take that off, drain the oil, and see what that looks like. All right, guys, there is the stock skid plate, and I'm telling you, man, this thing is burly. I really like it. No, it does not have the little skid thing in the back for the linkage, but it's got holes in it, so I might put one of those on because, you know, why not? I also do have Bulletproof Designs link guard on there, but I probably put the skid. I might just make my own out of something else instead of buying one. But anyway, that's pretty cool. That's a nice skid plate. All right, guys, looks like it's got the same 13mm bolt in the cases. Bring you guys over. We got just under 10 hours on this bike now, including one nasty race. If you guys haven't watched that video, make sure you do. And it looks like it was a good idea to change the oil at 10 hours. That's disgusting. Well, that is what they call break-in oil. Just so you guys know, there's no different kind of oil for break-in oil. It's just the oil that's in there when you break it in. But yeah, I'm super happy that we're doing that. I'm going to pop the air filter cover. I think that air filter is actually good. I probably don't need to do it because I did it right before the race. But it was wet the whole time, no dust at all. So let's check it. Yeah, guys, it's fine. It's got some water and stuff on it, but it's totally okay. There's the new design. Same basic idea. It doesn't have the little sharp thing to cut through the air filter like the other one, which is nice. But yeah, same design with the two pins. I really like that part of it. It's a bummer now I got to stock more air filters, but whatever. All right, guys, so here's the tank. I did not go over this the last time. I should have, but the pump now, instead of being down over here where it can get broken and hit things or whatever, it's a drop-in style. It goes right in here. I watched Takamoto's video about this, so this is not going to be new if you haven't watched or if you've already watched his. But if you look, it's got, there we go, that low port right there. But you can see it's already below the level of the wings on the side. So I don't know, Taco, whatever his name is, the guy there, I was talking about how, you know, you bounce around off-road, it'll splash in here. I think that's a little bit hopeful that it'll all splash. I get that most of it will, but it does got me concerned a little bit. Excuse me, it does have me concerned a little bit because, I don't know, I don't want to run out in a race. Since this is a race bike, I don't want to be run out and like look down and see there's fuel there and I gotta tip the thing over. But it is better than what you think, because you know, before it was like, where is the thing? And I don't know, I might work on building some sort of siphon that would go over there. That'd be kind of cool if you could do that. I don't know how that looks or what that even would entail, but anyway, so that's how that works. That's the point where the fuel pump sits and picks up. I do like that system. It's a super simple system. Doesn't have a bunch of hoses running through, stuff like that. It's all right here, so I like that a lot. But we'll see. Hopefully it holds up well too. Fuel pumps have not been KTM's strong point recently, but you know, hopefully it's good. It says on it B-U-R-L-N. I don't know if it's Berlin. I mean, it's not how I spell Berlin, but that's interesting. So maybe it's not Chinese. We'll see. Anyway, let's get this thing cleaned off a little bit more. I thought I had cleaned it really well after the race, but obviously it's disgusting. Alright guys, so one thing about cleaning these fuel injected guys is you want to make sure you cover up the fuel inlet with the thing that it comes with. This is for the other side, and then they have just this cap. I'm gonna push this thing out, spray it down a little bit better, get that all clean because we're taking that head off. I'll bring you over here so you can see it. It's not the same as the others. Right there. Ooh, look, it even says coolant. That's awesome. So this is a perfect time to talk about one of the things that I don't love about this motorcycle. The radiator cap is dumb. It's really hard to remove by hand. It sucks, and so we're gonna have to do it here. We'll see if let's see guys, actually I'm gonna put you guys down. So far I haven't been able to do it without a tool. It's like a pair of channel locks. I think it's gonna be that way again. Come here, grab a hold of it, then push down. There we go. So that is annoying because you can't do it that easily and hold the pan up, because you got to hold the pan up so it doesn't shoot off all over. Anyway, whatever. So that is one thing I'm not a big fan of. Also, it's plastic, and this thing is pulling on it right now. Yeah, anyway, whatever. I don't like it. It feels like a well-built little item, but I mean, it feels really strong and like heavy. But I don't know why they did it. It looks like, honestly, more work and more expensive to machine here. Get that machined all nice and pretty. Like I said, it's pretty, it's nice, but no thanks. And so the other thing, guys, that I don't like is I'm not loving the fuel mileage. So I don't leave you hanging. The two things I don't like about this bike: I don't like the radiator cap because that's dumb, whatever. I shouldn't have to take it off very often, so no big deal. The more important thing is the fuel mileage and that pump setup, having it anyway. I am definitely concerned about that, whether or not it's going to actually get all the gas out of it. Also, race pace this last weekend is getting like 20 miles to the gallon, maybe even a little bit less. It's not that big a deal if I could get a bigger tank, but I can't get a bigger tank. So that means I can't do a 2-hour hair scramble. Yeah, I don't love that. I want that ability. I'm sure a big tank is coming. I'm sure we'll get it solved. But those are the two kind of downsides to this bike. All right, so that is all the coolant that came out of it, which is not really a lot. It's interesting. So now I'm going to take this hose off. Looks like it's got a temp sensor right there, over here, right there. Take that hose off, spark plug out, and then we're just gonna pop that head off, get some measurements, and take a look down into that motor and see how it looks after 10 hours of beating on it pretty hard, really, and see how the cylinder looks. I know that there's some TPIs with that kind of mileage or hours on them that were like already scratched up. So hopefully this one's not. So guys, this sensor definitely is telling me that even though it doesn't have the setup to put the fan on it right now, I have a feeling it's coming. If not with a harness like the W, maybe with the app. Hopefully that app is coming soon. Should be really cool when it does. So yeah, that temp sensor makes me think that it's ready for that kind of intelligence. I've also had people ask me if you can get the spark plug out with the tank on. No is the answer to that. I don't think there's any way you could do that. But being fuel injected right, it shouldn't need that. I don't know. It's also kind of interesting, guys. It looks like it takes a BR8ES, not the 7 that came on the TPIs. More like an old school spark plug, which I like that a lot. See what it looks like after 10 hours of me riding it and 40 to 1. So there we go. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Nice and dark. Probably kind of hard to tell. It's a little maybe on the black side. Maybe it's because I'm running a little bit more oil than what it calls for, but I like it. I'm happy with that. Oh, another thing guys asked me already is, are the power valve covers leaking? No, they're not, because they don't tie into the transmission like previous years. That's a nice thing. It's just a cover right there. Nothing coming up from here. Nice and clean. It's not leaking. There's no that O-ring weird carrier. Anyway, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I'm really happy about that. I always hated when my brand new motorcycle was all covered in ugh. So, all right. So, looks like we just need a 13 socket, and we can take this head off and take a look inside. All right, guys. You guys are going to be the first ones to see inside this thing with me. I'm excited. Boom. There we go. Two-piece head. There it is. And SX300. So if you guys wondered if there's anything different between this and the SX as far as the top end goes, not mechanically. At least not on not the cylinder head. The piston, I guess, could be different. We're going to find all that out here in just a second. Well, I don't know. We're not going to find out the difference, but we're going to see what the piston looks like. But that is pretty cool, guys. Comes with an SX300. That is rad. And this is what Kelsey is going to be building for us. He's already got one at his shop that I ordered early and sent it. Pretty happy with the way that's burning. Let me see. Also, super happy with the polish they put on it. That's nice from the factory. Now Kelsey's obviously going to put his flutes into it, but for a stock one to be that polished up, that's pretty good. So, all right, it's looking really good. Hang on. All right, guys, let's take a look. Looking really, really good, like it should. I'm super happy with how this cylinder is looking, especially after last weekend's race. I really beat on it. You can see maybe a little bit of a mark over there, but it's not in the, let's see if I can, I don't know. It's really hard to show it. There's a tiny bit of a mark, but if I reach in there, I can't feel it at all. So that's really good. Super, super happy. It's got a flat top piston. Power valve from here looks about the same. It's got, let's see, there you go. It's got drums on the side, normal blade on the middle, like, or excuse me, in the middle. So that part all looks basically the same. I'm not going to take the power valve cover off right now just because I don't want to mess with it. But I am going to rotate it up so we can get a deck height. Now, because it doesn't have a Kickstarter, it's kind of annoying. And by the way, I'm not listing that as one of the things I don't like because it hasn't failed me yet and it's been perfect. So I'm going to leave that off the list of things. I guess the gassing hasn't failed me either, but you know what I mean. I had to pour gas mid-race and there's no way I was going to make it on a 2-hour hare scramble. So, but let me show you how you rotate the motor when you don't have anything and you don't want to take any covers off the motor. All right, guys. What I'm going to do is take a stand, put it underneath there. I'm going to put this thing in gear. And then we're just going to use the wheel, which is going to be tough, but there we go. All right, there we go. Definitely old school flat top piston, 71.92, so 72 millimeter bore, which is what they've always been. I'm sure it's got a 72 millimeter stroke. It's not what they've always been, but what they have been for the most, like for a long time. These 300s, one of the things that makes them so good is that they're a square motor. The bore and the stroke are the same. That gives the motor a lot of torque without losing too much over rev. If you go for a shorter stroke than bore, then you end up with a lot. You can get a lot of over rev because it's moving a shorter distance. So you can really rev it to the moon without causing issues. You go the other way with a long stroke, smaller bore, you get a lot of torque, but zero over rev. These are kind of the best of both worlds. It's kind of an interesting thing I'm noticing. So if you guys look here, the O-ring sits down inside, like you can't feel it. So it's not like it was. It's because, there we go, this edge goes into that groove to seal it. And then we have obviously this for the outside, and then that O-ring also for the water jacket. So interesting to know. Now I just got a text from Kelsey, so do some measuring, guys. I think he just needs deck height really, and to know whether it's domed or flat. And yeah, and then we'll go back together with it. All right, guys, got all those measurements off to Kelsey. He is going to be building us a super rad head for this thing. I'm very excited about that. Should be really, really good, like always. Let's see. I don't think there's a specific way this goes in this head because it's pretty much symmetrical. Hold on. Yo, Kelsey. Kelsey, you there?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I got a minute.
So why is this head so fucking weird with this double step thing? Is there a step around that cylinder that I can't see in the picture there?
So yeah, kinda. It's weird. It's a weird one. So in the cylinder, the inner O-ring sits down in a deeper groove. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, they got the fuel injection dead nuts. All right, we got the head back on. Let's take a look real fast too. I think I mentioned this already, but I don't know. Just again, crankcase pressure sensor, guys, is very different. Big, huge hose going to it now instead of that tiny little thing. Also super easy to get to. In case you ever needed to replace it, it would be really, really fast. Come up underneath here. I don't know if I've showed all this or if you've seen all the videos, but it's still dirty, amazingly enough. Anyway, lithium battery. Got the starter solenoid and main fuses here. We got, let's see, got the extra fuse for the fuel pump right there. Diagnostic port, that's where we're going to be tying in for the True North wiring harness. ECU, obviously, regulator rectifier. That's about it, really. Let's see, I think, yeah. So I'm going to put the coolant back in it. I'm going to switch to Evans. I like Evans and 2-strokes. Not a big fan of 4-strokes. I've talked about this before. I think the Evans let the 4-strokes get too hot. 2-strokes generally just don't get that hot. It's the nature of a 2-stroke. So I do run Evans in my 2-strokes. Let's see what else. Make sure you guys ask questions below. But the next thing I am going to do here on the video is I'm going to test the charging system because I had a guy ask me to do that. He put a fan on his and it killed the battery. So I'm going to find out. I don't have a fan on the bike yet, but I'm going to find out what it's charging at idle and all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, what I just did was I put some dielectric grease. I put some dielectric grease on this connector because it is pretty well protected, but I found lots of sand and water up in there too, so after the race. So I want to make sure we keep that thing making good connection because if it doesn't, it stops the motorcycle. All right. So next is put some oil in it. I'm going to run Bellray Gear Saver 80 weight. It is what I've run in all my 2-strokes forever. And it's amazing. I've told the story as to why whatever. It's great. Run whatever you want. It really won't hurt anything. I like Bellray Gear Saver a lot. So we're going to get that in there. Then we're going to fire it up and check charging system. All right, guys, we're going to check the charging system. Also, we'll kind of load test the battery. Let's go over here. Turn our meter on. Just sit here. So, do this. There we go. 13.3. Now let's hit the button. Let's... So it dropped pretty low, all the way down to 9-something volts. But Highland, 13.5. So... that seems pretty good to me at an idle, especially kind of a low idle like it is. But this gentleman, I think that's what he said, and killed his battery with the fan running. I said I don't really have a load to put on it right now, unfortunately, to really test it, but I am going to rev it and see. I'm going to take you guys off of there because the camera fall. We'll rev it and see what it gets to. Alright guys, so that is a little bit interesting. It only revved to, like when it was revved up is like 13.5, almost 13.6. Normally I'm used to seeing 14s-ish, you know, 14 and a half is usually pretty good. So that might be a little on the low side. So like I said, I don't have a load to put on it right now, but we will soon, hopefully get a light and all that good stuff on this thing. And we'll test it with that load on it too. So when we get the seat back on it, we'll go around the rest of the things we do on a first service on a new bike. All right, guys, got the tank on, got the airbox cover back on. Obviously, the air filter's in gray shape, don't need to do anything. Really, the next things to do are check all your spokes, guys. New bikes especially, and these are different wheels. I put Bulletproof Designs wheels on, so I've actually already been around these things once when they were brand new. Now I'm going to go around them again. Want to check your sprocket bolts. Go around and you want to touch all the nuts and bolts, like subframe bolts, head stays, really kind of everything on it. Now I need to take this apart and get into the chassis, like grease all the bearings and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to do it yet because we're going to be taking all this stuff off very soon to valve the suspension. And when I do that, I'll do the steering head and all that stuff. But normally, right now would be the time we take the linkage apart, swing arm off, make sure all those bearings are greased. We take the steering head apart, grease all that stuff. I went ahead and put a new spark plug in it, and it was BR80S, because why not? And everything's been working great. I'm really, really happy. Like I said, we're just almost 10 hours on this thing. So, guys, I really can't say enough about how good this is. Make sure you ask questions below. Let me know what you want to see me get into next. I'm not afraid to take this thing apart. I'm not going to split the cases for you guys yet, but I'm not afraid to get it apart. I've had some people ask about the starter. It is down here. And look at that. That's awesome. That had sand in it even, so I'll blow that thing out. Starter's down here, goes through the other side like the other ones. I don't think you're going to be able to get that out without taking the motor out of the frame. Yeah, I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, whatever. Someday we'll get to that, but not right now. Also, guys, again, there's no real good way to get to this and be able to do that with your fingers. That, to me, is more of a gimmick than anything else. We can get to the high speed and low speed up here, no problem, so that's cool. But, yeah. What else you guys want to know? I'm loving this bike. If you have one, make sure you say what up on the socials and here on YouTube. Tell me your experiences. I have heard of some people having problems with the T fitting in here on the coolant where the sensor is. It is plastic. I think that's kind of neat. I wish someone would maybe make an aluminum one. So if you're out there and you make an aluminum one, let me know. Love to test it for you. I mean, I'll buy it. You don't have to give it to me. But I would love to test it. So anyway, thanks guys. Hope you got pops and wheelies.